Welcome to our first video of 2024. In today's video, we have a surprise entrance, returns, and debuts for this upcoming Royal Rumble. Obviously, it's this Saturday. And yeah, pretty simple. We're going to list off a few names that we think are possibilities of coming back. We have about 5 to 6 women each and men each. I also have some possibilities I think that could happen, but yeah, I'm going to start off with my possibilities that I think could come back. I have Stone Cold just because he looks good, or he looked good in his last match, and I think he could do, what's a one-off appearance. The Rock, kind of self-explainable. Pat McAfee, could see him. Corey Graves, if he wants to finally have like one more little thing. Alexa Bliss, she could come back, but I think she wants to maybe focus on acting more, it kind of seems. Liv Morgan, she has some legal stuff to deal with. MJF, I just don't think he's going to come to WWE. I think he's already reached out to AEW. Okada, and Dakota Kai, just because I don't know if she's fully healed yet. But yeah, that's my possibilities, but I don't think it will happen in the end.
Yeah, pretty much, agree with all of those. Pretty much the same. So,
yeah. Who do you want to start with, men's or women's?
Let's go men's first.
All right. So for my men's one, my first one I have is Brock Lesnar. Kind of just, it'd be weird to not have Lesnar at a Mania, and I think you can perfectly start something off with him at a Rumble, have this next month and a half, or 2 months really, in between Rumble and Mania to build something with whoever wants to go against that Rumble, or Mania.
Okay. Alright, and then for mine, I have Braun Strowman. He's just somebody who we haven't seen in a while. As far as we all know, he is still under WWE contract. I'm sure they kind of gave him, just time to heal from the Bray Wyatt thing, because that's about the last time we've pretty much seen him, really. I can't remember any time in between then, at least. But yeah, it's about time we see him back. I'd be excited to see him back. He's one of those monsters who could come into the Royal Rumble and eliminate whoever you need to be eliminated, and they'll still look strong even though they're being eliminated, because it's Braun Strowman.
Yeah, he's kind of like that Kane, how Kane used to be, where it's believable he can eliminate anybody, but if he loses, it also can be like, it builds whoever eliminates him pretty strongly.
Yeah, like if you want Brock and Strowman, this would be like a good way to kind of set that up. Braun eliminate, or even vice versa as well. Brock could eliminate him. But even that would be like a pretty cool match that, maybe we should see.
Yeah. For my next one is Wade Barrett. And from what I understand, he hasn't had any injuries. And I don't think that was the reasons of why he stopped wrestling. His last match was in 2016. So I can easily see him there. He looks in great shape. I mean, he seems enthusiastic about wrestling. Obviously, it's probably more up to him if he wants to. But yeah, I think if he would have come back, just even if a one-off would be fun. See him come out from the commentary and just, I think that'd be pretty cool.
And kind of in a way the same situation, but this person is coming back from injury, and that's Big E. This is somebody who I think would get a massive pop on a return. We don't know how much longer we have with him. He kind of mentioned, maybe moving into like a commentary role, and like his future if he doesn't go back to wrestling. But if he does come back to, doing in-ring stuff, this would be a good time to bring him out. Yeah. He'd get a massive pop. He doesn't have to do too much in the ring. He can kind of be safe with him. And, Kofi's already, proclaimed in the Rumble, he says. So, yeah, you could have a cool spot with them, too.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have, assuming Xavier's also in the match, have them two in the ring and they're waiting for the next person to come out. And then it's Big E and we finally get the big reunion. Would definitely be a cool thing. My number 3 is Braun Strowman. Similar to what you said, we haven't seen him in quite a long time. I'm ready for him to see him back. When he did come back, we had the tag team with Ricochet, which is really enjoyable. I was actually a big fan of the tag team. At first, I was a bit skeptical because it's just, they had no chemistry, to my knowledge, beforehand. So then seeing them work together and build it and kind of become one of the better tag teams at the time was quite interesting, and whether he's a solo act or a tag team with Ricochet again, maybe, would be fun to see.
Yeah. And then for my next one, this will be a call-up from NXT, and this is going to be Carmelo Hayes. I feel like this is a good time. He obviously lost his chance to be at the Rumble to go against Logan for the United States Championship, and Kevin Owens took that spot. So this could be, a way to work him into there, build him into the main roster. They still been showing him on TV pretty much every week since then. He's had like little backstage segments. He obviously had, little scary spot with him and Austin Theory recently, but thankfully both of them are okay. So maybe you could play off of that, have them both be in the Rumble, and go off of that.
Yeah, I didn't put up any call-ups really besides one of my women's one. But yeah, he was definitely somebody I could definitely see. And there's a lot of NXT people I think are definitely ready for it. I think just WWE wants to take their time with some of them. I think some are just they want to do a bit more NXT before they're done with that and onto the main roster. But I can definitely see Melo being one of them. My second to last men's one is Andrade. His contract is up with AEW, as we know, at World's End, and I don't see him going to many other companies. Obviously, he might go to like a AAA or CMLL, but yeah, I just see him in WWE again. I've heard reports that Charlotte has pushed for him to be brought back, and there's been reports of him already being signed and already being kind of confirmed for it. And I think he'd have a great run on the main roster. Now with Triple H, he was booked fairly well in NXT under Triple H, so I think now on the main roster, definitely see him going out there like Gunther, maybe even push for the world champion. But yeah, could definitely be some fun matches with him.
Yeah, and then for my next one, this is another call up. This is gonna be Braun Breaker. Obviously, he's in like a little team with Corbin right now, and they're kind of doing that thing in the tag team division in NXT right now. But he's kind of like a Braun Strowman as well, where he could come in, spear everybody in the ring, get an elimination or two, and he'll look strong, make everyone else look strong. It'll just be a big moment for someone like him, if you are looking to bring him up to the main roster, somewhat soon.
Yep. And then for my last men return / debut, I have Sheamus. I don't think we've seen him since the Edge's last match in WWE. I think that was the last one, and I'd say I'm missing him. I think he's a guy who I was used to seeing, and then now just kind of seeing him just disappear is something's missing. And I feel like he's somebody who, if he were to come back, there's a lot of great matches you can have. Now with Pete Dunne finally distancing himself from the Brawling Brutes and him being Pete Dunne again, that could be really fun. Tyler Bates seemingly be on the SmackDown roster could also be fun. And also reigniting feuds with either Gunther or Drew would always be bangers as well. So
yeah, Sheamus is definitely someone you could come in and see him literally go for any title, and it'd be great. And this is a good way to get him into Mania, as he's like kind of build him fast towards it. Alright, and then for my last one, someone you already mentioned, so I won't speak too much on it, but Andrade. It's kind of already rumored, so not too much of a surprise. But nonetheless, he is great, and I would love to see him back in the ring.
Yeah.
Alright, now we're going to move forward, and we're going to go to our women's side, which I think this one is a little bit more interesting when it comes to surprise entrants and who could potentially return, come back, come for the first time, call-ups. It's kind of a lot going on here. So yeah, I think this one I'm a little bit more excited for. And to start it off, I'm going to go with kind of an obvious one. That's Naomi.
Yeah,
she's kind of been rumored already. You mentioned the leak that came out today with her ring gear specialist.
Yes. Yeah, apparently the person who makes her ring gear just tweeted a picture and adding her, and people kind of just connected dots of what else is this special ring gear going to be for. Just makes sense that Rumble's around the corner. So, yeah.
Yeah, so not too much to talk about there. Everyone kind of knows about this already, but it is one that is exciting, though.
Yeah, for me, I have Julia, and I have her kind of early on. This is not really a ranking, but it's just I have the least. I don't really expect her to be in WWE. I don't expect her to come now, at least. But if she were to, I don't know how the crowd would respond, because obviously she's coming from Stardom and coming from Japan. I don't know how much the W audience watches Japan wrestling. So hopefully she would get a good pop, and if she were to come, I would be very excited, because she could easily be somebody who would, one, could win the Rumble, and two, just be a very believable champion in the women's division that's already strong. So yeah,
and even myself, I don't really watch a lot of stuff outside of WWE and AEW. So when I was seeing rumors of her coming, you were kind of talking about her as well for a couple months leading up to this kind of. So I did kind of do my research on it. She is, like you said, she's really good, and she's on my list too. So I will skip that one, and we will go to my next one, and that is Sasha Banks. Yeah. Now this one, there's a lot of ways you could come from here. In our predictions video, which y'all will have already seen if y'all keep up with our videos, I kind of have it as Bayley winning, and I think Sasha Banks could play a big part in that. But yeah, I think there's a lot you could kind of play off of with Sasha, whether you have her eliminate Bayley, set up a feud between them two to have a big Mania match, or she helps Bayley and that's her tag team to go forward against Kabuki Warrior / Damage Control. So I think there's a lot going on with Sasha, but I do kind of feel like she might be going the AEW route.
Yeah, with her, it's one of those things where until you see it, there's nothing to go off of. Like, she could literally be signed with the company for all we know. She could not be signed with anybody. She might not be having talked with anybody, which I'm sure that's not the case. But yeah, it's a very weird and interesting case because there's not. Usually, it's like with the leakers and these dirt sheets, it's like, oh yeah, this person is in talks and he's most likely signed, or she's already signed. Or there's some people that's like, oh yeah, they're just not even having talks with this certain company. They're probably going somewhere else. So yeah, Sasha is a very interesting case, but somebody who would love to see back, and
especially with all the hints she's kind of been doing and the little teasing and stuff, so she doesn't come back. That'd be like a huge troll from her, but I could definitely see her trolling people too.
Yeah. And for my next one, this is technically a call-up, but it's somebody who's a veteran in the game, and that's Meiko Satomura. She hasn't been on the main roster from what I'm aware. Maybe she had like 1 or 2 matches, but I don't know how long she wants to wrestle for. She's already pretty old, or older for wrestling, and yeah, I think her coming back at the Rumble would be fun. There's matches that we haven't seen yet between like likes of Bayley and Io Sky and Kairi Sane and tons of women's that we haven't seen her wrestle with. So her returning and debuting for the main roster, I think, would be very cool.
And then for me, I have yet another NXT call up, and this is someone who I'm excited for, and I think a lot of people would be as well, and that's Tiffany Stratton. I feel like she's proved herself a lot over the past, not so much the last month. You haven't really seen her a whole lot, which kind of is leading me to believe she is coming to the Rumble. Yeah. And she lost the title obviously to Valkyrie. So that'll be cool to see her come, and that's like her step in, because there's a lot of cool even teams that I would love to see her either versus Chelsea Green or with Chelsea Green. I think that could be interesting. They also just split Chelsea Green and Piper potentially recently. It's not confirmed if they're really gonna split up, but they kind of teased it a little bit, I guess. But it'd be cool to see them go against each other, team up or whatever, and there's a lot of cool things you could do with her. So that's one I'd be excited for.
Yeah. My next one is I think one that's not, I'm not gonna say confirmed or anything like that, but this would be the perfect time, and it's probably the right time to finally debut her, and that's Jade Cargill. She signed, I don't even know how long ago now, and obviously the hype when she first signed was amazing. Literally every tweet was about her for like this first month basically. They teased her a lot on each brand, on SmackDown and Raw, and even NXT I'm pretty sure as well. But yeah, it kind of feels like the hype has died down with her, which is kind of scary because you had so much hype for it, and will people still care when she comes back? I think they will, obviously, but yeah, Jade coming to WWE is potentially going to be soon, and I think this is the perfect time.
Yeah, I think she could even be a dark horse winner for the Royal Rumble, depending on her positioning in it and who's in the ring with her, or what who's left still in the Rumble. But yeah, and she is definitely on my list as well, so I won't really speak too much on her. But I will go on to the next one. That's going to be Alexa Bliss. You kind of spoke about her already as well in your potentials. But I would like to see her. They have rumored that they're gonna still continue the Bray Wyatt / Fiend storyline, which obviously would involve her. So I'll be curious if she would come back as Alexa Bliss or the Fiend Alexa Bliss, whatever. I don't know what she called herself really.
Spooky Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. But I'd be curious which she comes back as, because that'll kind of tell the future of which way they're gonna go with her storyline, And another person, I'll just bring her up as well, is Liv Morgan. You kind of mentioned her already. One of my favorites. I would just like to see her back, since Ronda's gone. It's a good time for her to come back, and maybe she could hold the title for a little bit longer this time, maybe, or get her tag titles back that she lost because of injury.
Yeah. My next one is a person who has been, ever since One Guy returned, she has been linked, and that's AJ Lee. Whether it's a one-off or a return to wrestling entirely, I'd be happy with either or if she wants to stay at home, that's perfectly fine as well. But yeah, it'd just be really exciting. I think if she were to come back like for a full time, or at least have like a lot more matches, it'd be fantastic because it's a brand new era of women that she hasn't faced, to my knowledge. Like people like Bailey, Sasha, Charlotte. Obviously, Sasha's not confirmed to be back, but in the event that she is back, that's somebody who I don't think we've seen. So yeah, AJ Lee would be amazing. It would also get a crazy pop as well. So
yeah, and I still want the Mania match with Becky and Seth for CM Punk and AJ Lee. It just has to happen. It would just be too good to pass up.
That'd be good.
But yeah, that is our surprise entrance. If y'all have some that we didn't name, feel free to leave those in the comments. And also, if you haven't watched our predictions video, we put that out a few days before this came out, so you can go check that out to see, you know, a full breakdown of what we think, who's gonna win, and you know, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one, and we appreciate you.